So picture this. You're at the helm of a massive global company. From the outside, you look unstoppable, but deep inside, a critical part of your operation is basically a ticking time bomb. It's fragmented, it's ancient, and it's creating new risks every single day. We're going to break down how one company tackled this exact problem and built a global risk management system completely from the ground up.
To really get your head around the scale we're talking about, let's just start with one number, 160,000. That's the number of people on their payroll.
And yeah, those 160,000 folks aren't just sitting in one giant office building. No, they are spread out across 140 different countries. Think about that. Each one with its own laws, its own culture, its own completely unique set of risks. This isn't just a big company, it's a sprawling global ecosystem.
Which, of course, brings us to the real heart of the problem. When you're this big, this spread out, how on earth do you even begin to get a handle on risk? How do you build one single cohesive strategy that actually works for everyone everywhere? That was the multi-billion-dollar question they had to answer, and fast.
Okay, so to understand their solution, you've got to see the before picture. And honestly, it wasn't pretty. The company's risk management wasn't a system at all, it was just a chaotic mess of scattered forms. They had to figure out a way to turn that chaos into a real strategy.
And this quote from the project team, man, it just nails their ambition. They weren't looking to just slap a technical band-aid on an old system. This was their chance for a total strategic overhaul, to completely reinvent how they thought about risk across the entire organization.
And that old system, the one built on Lotus Notes forms, it was an absolute minefield of problems. I mean, just think about it. Your data scattered everywhere, nobody's sure who has access to what, and getting a simple approval takes forever because it's all manual. But the biggest problem of all, as you can see right here, is that there was zero unified strategy. It was, for all intents and purposes, organized chaos.
So they knew the problem inside and out. The first big domino they had to push over was making a really critical technology decision. They had to pick the foundation that this whole new global system would be built on.
Now they looked at the usual suspects, Java, Python, but .NET pretty quickly jumped to the front of the line. And it was for some really practical reasons. First off, the company was already a huge Microsoft shop, so integrating it would be a breeze. Second, their in-house IT team already had deep .NET expertise, which meant they could move way faster. And finally, you had that guaranteed long-term support from Microsoft, which is absolutely crucial for a system this important. It was just the smart, pragmatic choice.
With the tech picked out, it was time for the fun part, actually building the thing. The mission was to create a central hub, a single source of truth that could finally bring some order to their global operations.
And this is where the strategy really came to life. Instead of dealing with thousands of random, disconnected forms, the new system organized every single potential issue into just 4 main categories. You had external risks, operational ones, people and culture, and finance. Just like that, all of that overwhelming complexity now had a clean, simple framework.
Let me give you a real-world example of how this worked. So one of the key modules was for manpower budgeting. In the old days, this was a nightmare of back-and-forth emails. The new system? A simple, automated 5-step workflow. A request goes in, it gets automatically sent to the right manager for approval, and hey, if it's a really big request, it even gets escalated to senior leadership automatically. It took a slow, messy process and made it fast, clean, and totally consistent.
Of course, a project of this size is never a walk in the park. The team hit some pretty major hurdles trying to turn that beautiful blueprint into a working reality. So, the first huge challenge was the data itself. You've got years of incredibly valuable information about past risks, but it's all trapped in those ancient, disorganized Lotus Notes forms. How do you get it into the new system without losing all of that priceless historical context?
The solution was to build a totally custom migration pipeline. Now, this was not a simple copy-paste job. This pipeline was smart. It was designed to go in, clean up all that messy old data, reshape it to fit the new system structure, and then pull it all in. It was a massive amount of work, but it meant on day one, they had a rich, historical data set ready to go.
All right, the second big hurdle. This one came straight from the top. Leadership needed to see the risk, not just read about it. But how in the world do you visualize data with so many different variables? We're talking regions, risk types, severity levels, without just giving everyone a massive headache.
Their answer was a super modular and interactive interface. Now, users could group and filter all the risk data in real time. They could use color-coded dashboards and heat maps to spot trends in an instant. It literally transformed the data from something you'd read in a spreadsheet into something you could see, feel, and understand at a single glance.
So, after all that blood, sweat, and tears, what was the actual business impact? Well, this project did exactly what it set out to do. It moved the entire company from a state of chaos to a state of control, and the results were very, very real.
The payoff was just immense. Remember those 6 big hurdles we talked about at the beginning? This new system knocked down every single one of them. For the first time, they had a single source of truth for risk. They had real transparency and accountability. They could react to threats faster, and their security and compliance got a massive boost. And by automating so much, they cut down on endless manual work and made it way easier for teams across 140 countries to actually work together.
You know, this case study is just such a powerful lesson in strategic transformation. It proves that ditching outdated tech isn't just about a simple upgrade, it's a fundamental move toward getting real control and clarity in your business. And it kind of leaves you with one final question to chew on. What hidden risks, what little ticking time bombs might be hiding inside your own legacy systems right now?